Before the Big Bang, many scientists, many people thought the universe is eternal, including Albert Einstein. When the Big Bang was set forth, Einstein did something very dishonest. Mathematically, he put a fudge factor in. He had a motive. Einstein understood that if the universe is not eternal, my pantheism is wrong. Einstein was a pantheist. He worshiped nature as eternal God, so to speak. Some fellow mathematicians pointed out to Einstein, that's a mistake in your mathematical formula. He admitted it, and that's when Einstein moved out of pantheism into theism, a belief in some type of eternal God, because he understood the universe is not eternal. It has a beginning about 15 billion years ago. Everything that has a beginning has a cause. The universe has a beginning, therefore the universe has a cause. Does that make sense?
Then, how's God eternal, but the universe? Like, okay. I see how the universe has a cause, but how does God not have a cause?
Well, whatever would be the cause of God would be God. Because when I use the word God, I'm talking about what is or who is eternal. So if God is not eternal, whatever you mean when you say the word God, then whatever caused God is God. And obviously, what Jesus Christ and the Bible point out is that God is an eternal being without beginning, who is the original cause of the universe. Does that make any sense?
I guess so, yeah. I don't have any more questions.
Well, do you think there's a God?
I'm not entirely sure.
Uh-huh.
I don't have an answer.
Okay. If there is no God, that means life comes from non-life, right? See, in all of my observation, plant life comes from plant life. Animal life comes from animal life. Human life comes from human life. In my observation of reality, as I experience it, I never ever see life come from non-life. If there is no God, that means you believe in a miracle. Life comes from non-life. There is nothing in my observation of reality that validates that. Everything in my observation of reality is life produces life. And if you see life, any type of life, be it plant life, animal life, human life, if you push it back, you realize it comes from life. So an atheist is someone who says philosophically, obviously this is not a scientific statement, it's a philosophy. An atheist is someone who says, no, I believe that originally life comes from non-life. I think that's preposterous. I could never believe that. That's a miracle. And you see, the problem with atheism is we believe in a miracle, life comes from non-life, but there's no miracle worker. There's no God. So how on earth do you believe a miracle occurs, life comes from non-life, but there's no God to perform that miracle? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I would, maybe, yeah.
Okay, so what are you living for? In other words, what is more, or who is more reliable than God?
I don't know.
All right, but you're obviously a highly motivated person. You're a student here at a fine university. You dress very well. You speak very articulately. So obviously you're motivated. So you're living for something. You're not here by accident, right? So what are you living for? And what's the evidence that what you are living for is reliable? Do those two questions make sense?
I guess so. I don't have the answer to that.
Okay.
Why morals have to come from a God, because a lot of what we believe helps to perpetuate society. So there's an evolutionary reason why we would want to have a guilty conscience and adjust our behavior.
Very good. Does this brick have any understanding of good and evil? No. It takes a thinking mind to understand good and evil. So obviously, if there is no God, meaning by that, no mind prior to the human mind, if there is no God, then we all know who creates right and wrong. The human mind. If that is true, that there is no God, and that the human mind defines right and wrong, then obviously right and wrong are simply a prejudice, a bias, a cultural bias, an individual bias. It's a taste. Like, do you like the taste of broccoli or do you like the taste of asparagus? Do you like the taste of pineapple or do you like the taste of orange? It's just a taste. So my argument is, all of my atheist friends who are moral relativists cannot live that out. Because if someone hurts you badly enough, you say, you should not have treated me that way. And when you use the word should, you're appealing to a standard, I think, outside of culture, outside of individual decision. And you're saying, come on, wake up and smell the coffee. I mean, isn't it the Abraham Lincolns, the Mahatma Gandhis, the Dr. Martin Luther Kings that we respect, all of whom contradicted their culture and followed their conscience and said, slavery is wrong, the caste system is wrong, segregation is wrong, and therefore we're going to fight for the equality of people.
But look how much more advanced society has become because we abolished slavery. We were able to bring people together and intellectual minds collaborated. And I mean, just look around at technology. It went against the culture of the time, but it was beneficial to the evolution of our species. And so I'm not sure that culturally right now, we know what's good for our species.
All right. So then who are you going to trust to define what benefits culture?
I don't know if I have to trust anyone.
No, if you're telling me that the abolition of slavery has benefited culture, obviously that's your opinion. Obviously there are a lot of people who disagree with you. So who are you going to trust to tell you what is beneficial for a culture and what is not beneficial for a culture? Who do you trust?
I don't think you have to trust anyone. A lot of it is derived from hindsight. So we can look back and say that, oh, I can see where this was proven an advantage for society.
Yeah.
But I'm just attempting to explain why certain behaviors,
right,
why we harbor certain behaviors.
right.
You know?
See, and the reason I can't agree with you is because of the 20th century. The reason I can't agree with you is because of people who observed World War I and World War II. And the most highly educated, highly technological, highly scientific nation of the world, Nazi Germany, committed some of the most horrible atrocities imaginable. More murders in the 20th century, more people slaughtered in an age of science and nuclear energy and great education, fine universities, than ever before in all of human history. Over 150 million. Stalin, Mao Zedong, Adolf Hitler, Pol Pot. And when H.G. Wells observed that, he wrote a book called The Fate of Man, because he believed exactly what you believe. He believed that it's evolution and the evolutionary process that is going to lead to utopia. But when he saw the most highly educated, richest nation of the world, Nazi Germany, committing these incredible atrocities, he wrote a book called The Fate of Man. And in this he writes, my faith in man is bankrupt. Look what's happened. See, I think you got to grapple with that. And I think the evidence is that Jesus Christ is far more reliable than we are as human beings.
I don't know. I just feel like we need to really clarify and distinguish between objective truth and rhetorical truth.
All right.
And both are very valid.
Good. Then I'll try and help to clarify. If I say to you 2 plus 2 equals 4, I am contradicting the idea that 2 plus 2 equals 5. I am making a statement which is a truth claim. 2 plus 2 equals 4, not 3, not 5. If I say there are many ways to God, I am contradicting the person who says there's one way. If I say all ways lead to God, I am contradicting the person who says there are some ways to God, or that person who says there's one way to God. You see, whenever you make a statement that is not simply an opinion, you're making a truth claim. I am in Austin, Texas is a truth claim. I am not in Dallas. I'm not in Houston. I am in Austin, Texas. That is a truth claim. So, I don't care who you are, you make truth claims.
In this, like, we live in a, like, post-secular,
Postmodernism, right?
No, that's not, that too, but
Yeah, that too.
post-secular, pluralist, sort of like, battlefield that's constantly eroding itself, eating itself.
Yep.
And trying to make where you can easily be like, oh, truth claims contradict itself. And I'm sorry if I'm not elegantly able to sort of put it together.
Right.
But we have all these different variables and factors that sort of obscures that type of dialogue. So I feel like that's an easy way to derail, I don't know what we're trying to get at. And also in regard to mathematics.
Let me try and clarify. If I say that all ways lead to heaven, I am contradicting the person who says, no, there are only some ways that lead to heaven. I'm also contradicting those who say there's one way to heaven. If I say there are some ways to heaven, then I'm contradicting the person who says all paths lead to heaven, and I'm also contradicting those who say one way leads to heaven. And if I say there's one way to heaven, I'm contradicting those who say all ways lead to heaven or some ways lead to heaven. Does that make sense? Are we simplifying things?
Does everyone else understand that?
Are we on the same page? Or have I made sense? If I say, I am here, I am making a claim, I am not over there. If you say you're an atheist, what you're saying is, there is no God. If you say, I'm an agnostic, you're saying, I don't think I can know whether there's a God. Those are all truth claims. Like it or not. If you say, Jesus Christ is not the truth, but there is spirituality, you're making a truth claim. And guess what? Every truth claim is exclusive. It means everything that contradicts my truth claim is false. And guess what? Like it or not, every single one of you makes truth claims. And obviously I am making a truth claim as well. But let's clear this up right now.